So I'll call Metul Gogri, our committee member.
Good morning, students. Uh, Good to see many are yawning. So we can make out how many are interested in which subject and which not, right? So that is a sign that we are able to see that those who are yawning are not interested in this subjects. Is that so? No noise. I hope I'm making myself clear, students. Yes or no? થોડા ઊભા થઈને એક્સરસાઇઝ કરવી છે હા બહુ ઠંડી લાગે છે બહુ ઠંડી લાગે છે આપણે એસી થોડા સ્લો ડાઉન કર્યા છે ડોન્ટ વરી વોર્મઅપ કરાવશું સો આઈ એમ હિયર ટુ ઇન્ટ્રોડ્યુસ એન્ડ the faculties for the next sessions, arts, humanities, languages. I would welcome on the stage Shiti Gala, Riddhi Gadda, Ashna Gadda. Please on the stage. Thank you. Shiti Gala will be taking the lead for this session. I will introduce her and so on. She will be having her lecture and she will continue the introduction for... Yeah, please. Shiti Gala, Head Global Research and Consulting Practice at TMF Group, youngest leader in the organization with presence in 19 countries, visiting faculty at St. Xavier's College, Mumbai. She was previously taught at Narsimha Monjee Institute of Management Studies, that is NMIS. She has degrees MSc in Economics with distinction from SOAS, University of London as UK. Government's fully funded global Cheving Scholar, postgraduate diploma in liberal arts as fully funded Young India Fellow from Ashoka University. She is a BA Economics Honors from St. Xavier's College. She was here for LMNA and BCMA awards also. She has won the award over here, as well as she was a chief guest 2 years back in the same organization's BCSMA awards. So I hand over to the Shiti Gala and she will continue the next session.
Thank you very much for that warm introduction and very warm welcome to everyone. I'm here to talk about the larger discipline of humanities, arts and social sciences. So there's a lot to cover in the stipulated 10-minute time and we'll be happy to talk more even in the interactions, the one-on-one interactions with professionals. So he's shared a very kind introduction and mentioned a lot more about some of my credentials. I just want to start off by breaking the myth कि आर्ट्स में या ह्यूमैनिटीज़ में करियर नहीं है, ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं है, ठीक है. उसमें पैसे नहीं है, वो भी बिल्कुल नहीं है, ओके. So I'll just give you an example. We'll dive into some of the subjects, but there is definitely the pay scales are high for professionals even in the art space. I can tell you personally from my experience, because now I'm in a position in the organization where I recruit and I hire. So I just want to say, like, I come from an economics background and when I hire the junior most level, which is the research analyst level, it's anywhere between 5 to 6 lakhs per annum. When I hire at the researcher level, it's 8 to 10 or 12 lakhs per annum. When I hire the senior researcher level, okay, that's 12 to 15, 16 lakhs per annum. For the manager level, it's 16 to 20, 25 lakhs per annum. Senior managers make 25 to 30 lakhs per annum, okay? So this is in the for-profit space I'm saying. And I actively hire humanities graduates as well. For heads, directors, CEOs, etc., the pay scales are more than 30, 35 lakhs per annum. So I want to break the barrier, and often I find myself in a situation where the engineers or MBAs might not be getting paid as much as the humanities graduates. Why? बिकॉज ये मैटर नहीं करता है कि आपने आर्ट्स किया है या इंजीनियरिंग किया है या एमबीए किया है, आपने कहाँ से किया है वो मैटर करता है. ओके, एंड हाउ गुड आर यू एट वॉट यू आर डूइंग, right? So that is why when I hire humanities graduates as well, if they are from the top colleges, if they've done very well, if they've done their masters, and they have excellent communication skills, lot of confidence, hardworking, then we pay them as per market standards, right? So please don't, all this idea about arts में पैसा नहीं है, arts में career नहीं है, arts में वो लोग जाते हैं जो इतने intelligent नहीं हैं कि science या फिर जो भी है medicine, engineering, commerce, with all due respects, ये सभी fields बहुत अच्छे हैं. I am not saying arts is better than these fields, I am saying arts is equally good. Yeah. So next slide please. Okay, perfect. So in the ambit of arts, I just want to say that there are multiple disciplines, okay? And given the time that we have, we'll have limited time to cover. But arts, humanities, social sciences means this. Sociology, there is geography, there is economics, there is philosophy, there is psychology. A wonderful co-panelist will be covering psychology, so I won't delve deeper. But arts, humanities, social sciences means उसमें languages भी आते हैं, literature भी आता है, right? It's the larger field we are talking about. And one tip I want to give you all कि 10th and 12th में जो subjects में आप interested हो उसको options में please keep them, okay? Do not get rid of those subjects even if you're interested in history और 50 लोग बोले अरे history में scope नहीं है. If you like the subject, you want to pursue it, keep it in your options, okay? So what is the career goals, right? And I'm just giving you, giving you a visual cue of what are the possible career options that a history major can potentially have, right? They can become a historian, an archivist, they can teach, even to do law, right? So the Government Law College, for example, in Mumbai has a 3-year degree, जिसमें आप कोई भी आर्ट्स के फील्ड से ग्रेजुएट करके फिर लॉ कर सकते हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल, राइट? सो यू कैन बिकम अ लाइब्रेरियन एंड आर्काइविस्ट एज वेल एज अ हिस्ट्री मेजर, ओके? वन इम्पॉर्टेंट टिप आई वॉन्ट टू गिव यू इन टूडेज वर्ल्ड, मास्टर्स इज द न्यू अंडरग्रेड. तो सिर्फ ग्रेजुएशन करके किसी को रुकना नहीं है, मिनिमम मास्टर्स करना ही करना है, ठीक है? सो दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू कीप इन माइंड. या political science, right? You see the world is all about political science today. Israel, Palestine, Russia, Ukraine, anyone following current affairs? Yeah? So the world is in a situation where international relations, diplomacy is very important, right? So as a political science major, what are your career options, right? You could of course be working in a newsroom, right, where there's a lot of reporting of current affairs going on. You could be a broadcaster, you could teach as a political scientist as well. And political science students are well versed to take up, for example, a law degree later on. I want to give you the example. Anyone heard of Prashant Kishore? They run a political science consulting firm known as IPAC, where they do a lot of surveys of on ground what is the public sentiment, right, for political parties, for example, right? So anthropology, right? Anthropology delves into understanding people, right? People, culture is at the center of anthropology. Very important subject again, right? Even the biggest tech firms are hiring anthropology majors. क्यों? Because technology use करने वाले कौन है? इंसान, right? Phone पे apps use करने वाले इंसान है. So if you don't understand people, culture, their history, how are you going to, you know, build your app? So anthropologists as well can totally take up careers in various fields, including, for example, editing in a magazine, right? Geography major as well. Geography is a huge scope overall. It actually links itself up to some of the previous, I want to connect the dots with the previous panel as well. So let's say geography teaches you, at least at a master's level, to use something known as GIS softwares and applications, right? So that links itself up to urban planning as well, right? So if you want to work in government, Yeah. If we talk about Mumbai, right, redevelopment of Dharavi is being planned. A geography major would be of immense importance in this particular case because they will be able to understand what are the geographical aspects of that entire plot that need to be taken into account as well, right? Sociology, anthropology, again linked. Sociology again, and each of these in the arts fields, I want to tell you, you can have an excellent career in the non-profit or the development space as well, and with the government. आपको अगर लग रहा है कि NGO space में, non-profit space में, development sector में पैसा नहीं है, वो भी गलत फहमी है, okay? Because the recognition is कि अगर social service कर रहे हो, उसका मतलब ये नहीं कि खुद भूखे मरोगे. Right, so in the non-profit space as well, I know very well the pay scales. Depending on whether you're working for an Indian organization or international, 6 lakhs, 12 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 25 lakhs per annum, these are normal pay scales in the development sector, right? If you're working for United Nations, World Bank, GIZ, all of these organizations also pay well. So if, for example, a business-oriented Kachi family is telling you कि NGO space में मत जाओ, be like, you know, mom, dad, I will shine. I will work for the UN one day where I can earn enough. I will take care of myself, right? What I'm telling you is you don't need to compromise your passion thinking that there is no money in this space, right? Then philosophy majors as well. Philosophy is a fantastic subject. It links itself to mathematics. There's a lot of higher studies being done in philosophy. If you know something, we are living in a post-truth world. What do I mean by that? There's no difference between real news and fake news anymore. पता ही नहीं चलता है जो forward में आया है वो real है या fake है, right? So large tech companies are employing philosophers to do logic checks, to do reality checks ki are we spreading real information or fake information, right? Each of these subjects mein you can do research, you can do higher education, you can teach, you can work in journalism. It's very much possible, right? And I'll touch a little bit more about economics and liberal arts and then close. So economics, again, an array of options in economics. I would suggest if you're taking up arts, do try and take it as one of the subjects for sure, because you can go into finance, you can go into policy making, public policy through economics, you can go into market research, you can go into consulting field like I am in, right? My main job is to advise international governments of what they should be doing in India, right? So you can go into environmental economics as well. Economics is linked to finance, stock market, etc., right? So this is again a good field to take up. Many actuarial science also is something that can be pursued after an economics degree. And then finally, some of the skills that you learn. Data analysis is very important. Problem solving is important. Teamwork is important, right? Research skills, very important in today's day and age. Even if you have ChatGPT, Bard, Gemini, how many other platforms, a lot of them are giving outdated information as well. So who hires economics graduates and postgraduates? I've pulled out some of the top companies that do hire in the for-profit space. Even in the non-profit development sector as well, there are many organizations that will hire economics graduates. Universities and colleges, I mean, without prioritizing or giving special preference to any, there are many at the India level. St. Stephen's is well known for it, right? Christ in the South is known for it. In Mumbai as well and Maharashtra, this is not just Mumbai, it's Maharashtra, you have a range of colleges, right? There's Mithibai, there's NM, there's TIS, there is Xavier's, there's Ruparel, there's Ruia, there's Xavier's, a range of colleges, and depending on which subject you want to take, please choose. Mumbai University is very much an option as well. And finally, liberal arts, right? I'll conclude with liberal arts. Liberal arts means it's a mix of the arts and the sciences, okay? As per the national education policy, liberal arts is of key importance, because it encourages creative thinking. Okay, so liberal arts में क्या है? It's a mix of humanities as well as science subjects too, right? It's a new concept being taught to encourage multidisciplinary thinking. तो liberal arts में ये सिखाएंगे कि art, architecture, economics और geography ये चारों में क्या connection है, right? Through example, so connecting the dots, okay? And very important is liberal arts में ये कभी नहीं सिखाएंगे कि आपको मतलब what should you be thinking is not going to be taught. How should you think is going to be taught to you, like the way you should be thinking, right? So, I mean, private universities in India have come up with liberal arts courses. So there's Symbiosis, Flame, NMIMS, Kriya, Azim Premji, Jindal, Shivnadar. If any parents are here, don't be afraid to send your kids outside Mumbai or outside Maharashtra. Yeah, it's important. You've given your children the right value systems. They will not bigrofy at all. So भेजो उनको बाहर. अगर अच्छी colleges में इनका admission होता है तो भेजो, right? And liberal arts, again, you can be in government, development, think tank, corporate sector, academia. Starbucks का CEO did liberal arts, right? Mahindra and Mahindra, Anand Mahindra studied film studies. Who would have thought, right? Steve Jobs is a humanities graduate. So think big. Don't think that because you are an arts or a humanities student, आपका life में कुछ नहीं हो सकता, बहुत कुछ होगा आपका, right? And lastly, communication skills, critical thinking and connecting the dots. ये सब चीज़ें computers, machines, AI ये नहीं कर सकते, okay? We are feeding information and data into AI. So communication, critical thinking and linking up topics, that is something very important. Please newspaper पढ़ो, right? How much tariff has Donald Trump put on India? Reciprocal tariff, कोई तो एक हाथ ऊपर करके बोलो, हाँ बोलो. Reciprocal tariff, percentage क्या है? 26 या 27? Yeah, okay. So, इसमें आ गया economics, इसमें आ गया political science, international relations, right? So, please be updated with current affairs. I do so many interviews for various universities, selection panels. Unfortunately, students are getting their information on Instagram. It is designed to fool you. Do not rely on social media for news, okay? So all the best and happy to talk more on during the one-on-one sessions. It's my deep pleasure to now invite my lovely co-panelist for today, Riddhi Daksha Mahesh Gada, okay? So I would like to invite her on stage, and before that, I would like to give Riddhi's introduction. Yeah. So Riddhi is a linguist. She is the founder and the chief instructor at Fluent Linguals, an institution for learning foreign languages like French, Spanish, German, Mandarin, Japanese, French. She's an IB teacher at Podar International School. She's also a national level volleyball player. She's a winner at UNICEF Climate Change Summit in Paris. She's won IIT Bombay's Model United Nations and chaired many other Model United Nations. She, I personally know she contributes regularly to our community, which is very good. And she's the winner of DDKF's LNMA Award Scholarship and the BCMA Scholarship. She's won KVO Shrut Gun award, and she's been a jury member for that particular award as well. So with that, over to you, Riddhi. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shruti, for that introduction. I'm a teacher, I'm a professor. મને બધા સૂતા લાગે છે. Everyone raise your right hand. Everyone. Go to the right. Bring it center. Go upwards. Upwards chair. So those who are copying me, please wake up. So thank you for that introduction, Shruti. My name is Mrs. Riddhi Urmin Gala Hale Kodai, and I'm a linguist. So basically, I've learned French, Mandarin, Spanish, and I'm into languages for more than 10 years now. So even before I start my orientation, which wouldn't be long, don't worry, I have a question for all the parents here. Any parents here? Okay, parents, તમે લોકો તમારા સ્કૂલ ટાઈમમાં કોઈ ફોરેન લેંગ્વેજ ભણી છે? Or did you all know that there is something known as foreign languages? Any of you all? Now coming to students, how many of you all know or have studied foreign languages in school? You see, that's the importance. Languages are becoming popular day by day, and it's a must, it's a necessary skill now. So who is a linguist? A linguist is a person who learns various foreign languages and eventually makes a career out of it. Now, why languages? Languages important came from grade 5, which you all were at a point of time. From grade 5 to professions working at senior levels, learning a foreign language is today's necessity. One of the most upcoming careers in India especially, as you all can see, 5 leading foreign languages in India are: 1, Mandarin, which is Chinese. Next we have French, German, Spanish and Japanese. Going on to the next point, okay? We have a lot of MNCs, a lot of international companies coming in India, setting up their bases, and we are dealing with so many international companies. So these companies have a constant need of translators and interpreters. Why? If I'm selling to you, I'll speak in English. But if I'm buying, ni ingai shuo chongkwan. Next, moving on to the next point, which is holistic development of students. Learning languages enhances your creativity, your mental flexibility, your communication skills. And I can personally vouch for this point. હું પહેલાં બહુ શાય હતી, બહુ ઇન્ટ્રોવર્ટ હતી. આ બોલું કે નહીં, આ કરું કે નહીં, આ બોલું તો કેવું લાગશે? But after learning languages, after learning so many foreign languages, after meeting new people, after learning various cultures, here I am talking to 100+ people today. So learning languages, of course, it boosts your confidence also. Asha, how many of y'all here are not for languages? Please raise your hand. Not here for making a career in languages. Now, this is something y'all shouldn't miss. Learning a foreign language gives you an edge over your other competitors. So y'all are making a career in your primary skill, which is whatever domain y'all want to make a career out of it. And then learning a foreign language is something that gives you an edge against your colleagues and competitors. And students, how many of y'all have vaguely thought to go to abroad destinations for higher education? Now, this is something super, super, super important for y'all. Learning various foreign languages not only gives you an edge at abroad destination, but it also adds these brownie points in your CV. Why? Because y'all are competing at a global level with global students, and being a bilingual is a necessity over there. And moving on to the last point, which is personal growth, for sure. Whenever you learn a language, તમે જ્યારે અલગ અલગ ભાષાઓ બોલો ને, તમારું કોન્ફિડન્સ બૂસ્ટ થાય, because you can communicate with n number of people in their native language. હવે મેં આટલું બધું ઇમ્પોર્ટન્સ કીધું. I told you all why languages are important. I just don't speak in a random way. I have various stats to support what I'm saying. The most spoken languages on internet and in real life. Which is the first language? Which is the second language? What's Mandarin? Chinese. Do you all see the number of people or the population that is speaking Mandarin? Next we have Hindi, of course, because of the population, Spanish, French, Arabic, Bengali and Portuguese. આમાંથી કેટલી languages આવે છે આપણને? English, 2 maximum, 3 Hindi, correct? So this is how super important foreign languages are. And this data dates back to 2024 only. Okay? Next we have money control. You all know what's money control? Okay, it's a news resource. Hue Shui Chongquan, I want to learn Chinese, says Indians as the demand for the language picks up after lockdown dip. What date is this article dating back to? 2020. 2020 was what year for us? That is when exactly the need, the demand for Chinese language has gone up. And to support that stat, here's another article by Money Control which says that why is Mandarin important? It is the second most language spoken globally. If you don't want to make a career in languages, no worries. But if you are a profession, if you're wanting to make a career in other domain, knowing a foreign language is very important. You can see the average salaries also. You can see learning Mandarin is essential for jobs. Where? China, Taiwan, Singapore, now in India. What if I told you my largest batch of Mandarin learners are not you guys? They are these sellers from Zaveri Bazaar. I go there to conduct my sessions. Next, we have translators' job have highest pay for the Mandarin language. So foreign languages is not something that you do as a time pass hobby. કે વેકેશન માં ટાઈમ છે તો હું ભણી લઉં. It is a necessity in today's world. It is a must competency that all of y'all should have. What foreign languages mean for employers. 9 out of 10 rely on employees with language skills other than English. Everyone knows English. I know English. What gives you an edge? A foreign language. 56% say that foreign languages demand will increase in the next 5 years. How to start, where to start, all of this is quite technical. I'll be available for y'all in the second half of the day. I'll quickly take y'all through this. Every language is basically learned into levels. A1 being the beginner's level and C1 being the proficient level. However, languages like Japanese, Mandarin, Korean, they all are pictorial languages. मतलब एम्मा लिपि होय, alphabets ना होय. Those are the characters that you all have to learn by heart to learn Mandarin. So to be of my level, which is HSK 6, almost 3,000 characters you all should know by heart. And that is why the language is in demand. Next, what if I told you कि आपरी पोतानी Mumbai University has more than 10 plus language departments, in-house language departments, and these languages are English, Marathi, Arabic, Persian, Urdu, French, Mandarin, Russian, German, Sanskrit, Gujarati. All of these courses, BA courses for beginners, is available in Mumbai University. હવે આ બધું થઈ ગયું. I told you all the importance. I told you all why it is important. Now coming to the main question. આમાં સ્કોપ શું છે? પૈસા કેટલા મળશે languagesમાં? Correct? We all are wanting to grow, right? So talking about career opportunities in languages. First, translator and interpreter. So basically there are a lot of international companies who have clientele base all around the world, including India. And they constantly need employees who can translate and work in their native language. That's where translator is the one who translates the text, the working document. And interpreter is the one જે હિન્દી અને ઇંગ્લિશમાં તમારી માટે translation કરી આપે. Like I am doing for you all. So it's a very well paying job. Imagine having your primary career skill and knowing a foreign language, correct? So that combination usually works very well and it is very much high paying right now. Next we have tutor and lecturer, which I have made my career line. Again a question to parents. How much fees did you all pay in your school or during your tuitions? 300 rupees per year. કેટલી maximum 5-10 હજાર આપી હશે આપણા પેરેન્ટ્સે. How much money are you all paying students just to your school? Tuitions अलग, બીજા extra classes अलग, other hobby classes अलग. Do you see the difference? Do you all know what is the fees for an IG school? I think a lot of parents who have their kids right now, they must be knowing. What I'm basically trying to say that pre-notion of teaching my career थोड़ी बनावा है. Teaching is one of the jobs which will never have recession. You all know what's recession? Recession means the arrow goes down. Teaching is something where the arrow always goes up, and we have proofs here. Next, going on to language corporate trainers. We have a lot of companies, be it French company or a German company like Capgemini. What happens is they cannot afford translators and interpreters every time. So they train their employees to learn various languages. That is corporate trainer. Next, we have embassy. This is something that is not very popular in our Kachhi Samaj. Embassies, every nation has its embassy in India. And these embassies have departments where they need employees, who can work in their target languages. It's one of the best experiences. You get to work with the native crowd, you're meeting new people, and it's a lot of fun working in embassies. Next, we have international correspondence, journalism. All of this in detail, I can give you in the second part of the day. Pachi job roles of the translator, different translators we have, medical translator, anyone who wants to be a doctor. I have interned in Kokilaben Dhirubhai Ambani Hospital as a translator because they had French patients. So they call you as freelancing translators as well. Next, I will conclude my slide here. Those who are here for languages and those who are here for any other career option, no worries. Learning a foreign language is a must necessity for all of y'all to have an edge over your colleagues and an international world. There are so many career options. There are so many job opportunities out there. Time, distance, and language is no longer a barrier nowadays. There are thousands of opportunities at your doorstep. All you have to do is to take a step forward and learn a language. Why? A man who knows 2 languages is worth 2 men. Thank you so much, and I'll be available for you all in the second half of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that very comprehensive presentation on languages and for the word thank you in multiple languages. I am now pleased to invite Ashna Rajesh Gada. She's a counseling psychologist with an MA in Applied Psychology from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. She works as a psychiatrist with Dr. Somil Savla at his private clinic in Matunga, providing online and offline therapy sessions for adolescents and adults experiencing emotional and interpersonal concerns. Mental health, as you all know, is a very big topic. It's an important topic for adolescents, teenagers, young adults, everyone actually. Additionally, she works as a researcher in SIMHA, School Initiative for Mental Health Advocacy, contributing to projects focusing on adolescent mental health in various parts of the country like Maharashtra, Jharkhand, and Uttar Pradesh. So I would warmly welcome Ashna Rajesh Gada to share a few words with us.
Hello. Yeah. Thank you for the introduction, Shruti ma'am. Yeah. So my name is Ashna Gada and I'm a counseling psychologist. I think before I start with my presentation, one very common question that everyone has, what is the difference between psychiatry and psychology? Right? So what I'm going to be talking about is psychology. Psychiatry is a medical field where you have to do an MBBS, become a doctor, and then do an MD in psychiatry. Psychiatrists study medicine. Psychologists don't study medicine. Psychologists study therapies and overall mental health. Psychiatrists specifically focus on mental illnesses and treatment of all of these mental disorders. But psychology is a very broad field. We focus overall about human behavior, how people... Yeah. So it's an overall study of human mind and behavior, how people think, how people feel, and how our emotions and our thoughts are also influencing our behavior. We think about the interpersonal aspects of humans and intra and interpersonal both. Yeah. So yeah, who should become a psychologist? A lot of people, I think, who want to take up arts, most people either go into psychology or economics, but what are some skills, what are some attitudes, what are some interests that you should have if you want to be in this field? A lot of people have spoken about how communication skills, critical thinking, problem solving, all these skills are important for every single career, right? For psychology, the most important skill is empathy. Can you actually understand how people are feeling? Can you put yourself in someone else's shoes? Can you understand why are people doing what they are doing? Right? So empathy is very important if you want to become a psychologist. The second thing I would say is a genuine curiosity for human behavior. So why do people do what they do, you know? What is happening? Like, why are people acting the way they are? When I was a student, you know, I had these questions. Why do criminals commit crimes? If any of you all have seen this very famous series, Adolescence, the big question that comes up is what are the factors that lead to a 13-year-old boy become a murderer, right? Why? What is happening? Why are these people doing all of these things? We see a lot of people who have, you know, on the outside we feel they have everything in the world. They have money, they have a good family, they have everything. And yet they are not doing well in their lives. Yet they are suffering with emotional concerns. What is happening there? Why is that happening? There are people who come from nothing, right? Who have no money, no family support, and yet they become very successful people. So what are all of the factors leading to these things? So if you have a genuine curiosity for human behavior, then welcome to this field. The last but not the least, if you want to save lives. Doctors are not the only people who save lives. We all know the rates of suicide in this country are very high, and a psychologist saves those lives. We have worked with so many people who are on the verge of attempting suicide, and unfortunately there are so many who never get the support or the treatment that they should have gotten, right? The treatment gap in India is very big. We have less than one psychologist, that is 0.75 psychologists for every 1 lakh people in the country. So we have a big treatment gap, which also means that competition is not that high, right? So we need psychologists, we need people to come in, we need help here. This field is only booming right now after COVID. People are, you know, understanding the importance of mental health. We know it is important to go for therapy. Uske pehle we only used to think that only crazy people go for therapy. Only now we are understanding that anyone can go for therapy. It's not only crazy people, right? So yeah, I think the scope is the highest at this time, and the scope is only going to increase in the future. For people who are genuinely interested in joining the field, take a picture of this slide. This is a real research done by a very prominent counselor. These are the skills that research has found have been effective if you want to become a counselor. So you can go home, take, you know, just read all of these, introspect about these skills. What is the skill that you already have? What is the skill that you want to develop even further? Yeah. So now that you know who should become a psychologist and why become a psychologist, the educational pathway. Junior college, you can do whatever you want in whichever stream. HSC, ISC, you know, yeah, IG, ISC, A levels, all of these options are available for you. Graduation, you can do a BA or a BSc in psychology. Also, liberal arts is another option where you take psychology as one of your major or your minor subjects. Then you do a post-graduation, which is an MA or an MSc. Only after you do your post-graduation can you call yourself a psychologist. You cannot work as a psychologist only after graduation. Graduation right now is 3 years. Some of the honors degrees are 4 years. With NEP, everything will eventually become 4 years, but there is a lot of change which is happening. No one knows when it will happen, what's going to happen, but right now it's 3 years and some are 4 years. Post-graduation, right now we have a 2-year post-graduation. With NEP, we will have a 1-year post-graduation. Once you're done with your post-graduation, further education is optional. Obviously, it's going to add on to your, it's always better to do more. But you can do a PG diploma in specific therapies and specific specializations. There are lots of PG diplomas available. You can do an MSci. Right now, we have an MPhil to become a clinical psychologist, but this is the last year of MPhil, so by the time you all, reach your masters, there's going to be an MSci. This has not yet started in India. This is what the new education policy is talking about. When you do an MSci, which will also be a one-year course, you will become a clinical psychologist. Then you will get your license to practice therapy. Then there is a Sci-D, which is a further degree, and you become a consultant clinical psychologist. This is also a degree that is not yet started. It will start in, because of NEP. And then there is a PhD, which you can do in any field, of course. And most people who do PhD usually end up going to academia or research, but it has a lot of implications for practice as well. So it's not necessary that you only do PhD if you want to go into academia. A little bit in detail now. HSC Arts is the most common approach that everyone goes for if they want to take up psychology. The only advantage here is that you have a in-house quota directly. If you're already in a good college in 11th and 12th, you get in-house quota in that same college after 12th grade, because the cutoff for psychology after 12th grade is very, very high. In the good colleges, 95 plus. So in-house quota is an advantage here. The only disadvantage is you cannot shift to science and commerce after that. If you want to keep your options open, you can do an HSC in science or commerce. If you do science, there's an option to drop arts and drop maths and take up psychology. So if it's a subject you're interested in, but you're also, unsure, science karna hai, psychology karna hai, this is a good option for you. Other than HSC also, there are all of other options, and we can talk about the pros and cons of these options in our one-on-one sessions. Colleges are mentioned. I think Xavier's, Mithibai and Jai Hind in Bombay are the best ones that we know of. There are other colleges as well. But it's very, very important that these 2 years, because HSC is not that hectic. You do have the time. Use this time for personal development, because how you are as a person will determine how you are as a professional, right? So work on personal development, read a lot, talk to people, watch stuff. If, being into reading, I think, is the most important thing in psychology, because education is not enough. Indian education is not enough at all if you want to become a good psychologist. So read, not necessarily just psychology books, read fiction. Fiction is a great, it really helps you in building your emotional intelligence, which is very important in psychology. Non-fiction is very important for personal development, so just read a mixture of everything. Do your extracurriculars and learn as much as you can. Graduation, again, the most common approach is a BA in psychology. You choose 3 subjects in your first year. Now with NEP, there are majors and minors. There are also other interdisciplinary subjects which come in your bachelor's. In your last year, you choose a majors in psychology, and you major in psychology, and you get a BA psychology degree. Your other option now is a BSc in psychology. Right now in Bombay, from what I know, Mithibai, KJ Somaiya and NMIMS are the only 3 colleges offering BSc in psychology. The only difference between BA and BSc is that BSc, there's a larger focus on psychology. When you see the curriculum, you see that there is more psychology subjects and lesser of other subjects. In BA, you will focus on 3 different humanity subjects in the first and second year. So third year is the only year where you will only have psychology subjects. Again, both have pros and cons. It's always great to learn different subjects. It's also good to have a in-depth knowledge about the same subject. There are also other options like liberal arts. I think Shruti ma'am has already spoken about that. Some colleges, very few colleges now also offer double majors. So you can major in psychology and sociology, psychology and economics. That's also an option. Abroad is also an option, BA or BSc. And the last one is BSc in home science or human development. You just have to make sure that there are at least 3 papers of psychology in the curriculum if you want admission in masters. This is not an option I would recommend, but if, this is still one pathway that you can take. Other than that, again, certificate courses, trainings, internships, volunteering in a lot of NGOs. because you're not yet a psychologist, you cannot get psychology related, like you can't become a therapist, you can't do counseling before you complete your masters, but work in a lot of NGOs, work with people, work in the social sector, intern in schools, observe, you can just go and observe people who are working. That will give you a lot of exposure. Use all the resources that you have. Use social media very, very, very smartly. There are so many psychologists on Instagram. Follow those pages. You will get a lot of updates from there. There are lots of psychologists on LinkedIn. Follow them as well. So, yeah. In the third year, what you have to start doing is start preparing for your master's entrance exams. So during our time, there were different entrance exams for different master's universities. Now there's a CUET PG. I don't know what will be when you all come to your master's. But whatever it is, the portion is going to be overall, all of the subjects that you've done from first year to third year, all the psychology portion. It's also important to focus on psychology in first and second year, because in the third year, not everyone gets a major in psychology. The seats are very, very low, 10 or 20 seats in every college. Mithibai has more seats. This is for post-graduation. There are 3 fields, very most prominent fields in India right now: clinical, counseling, and industrial organizational. But, and these are the colleges offering them. Since I don't have time, I'll just quickly go forward. These are the only other specializations we have in India, unfortunately: educational psycho-oncology, neuropsychology, health psychology, behavior psychology, and criminology and forensic sciences in NFSU, which is in Gujarat. Christ University is in Bangalore. But if you want to do more specializations, there are loads and loads of specializations abroad, a lot of interdisciplinary learning in psychology. So if you're interested in, economics and psychology, there's behavior economics. If you're interested in psychology and design, there's UX design. If you're interested in psychology and sociology, there are so many, like global mental health and community psychology and those kind of fields as well. Sports psychology is also really booming now. If you're interested in marketing and psychology, there's consumer behavior. So lots of interdisciplinary things that you can do. Lastly, what are the areas of work? Being a counselor or a therapist is the most common thing that most people in psychology do, but that is not the only option that we have available. And there's a lot of choice in what you want to do. So you can choose what type of work you want to do. Do you want to do counseling? Do you want to teach? Do you want to do research? Do you want to have workshops, trainings, assessments? So personality assessments, career assessments, these are also options that you have. You can choose which setting you want to work in. Do you want to work in a hospital? Do you want to work in an NGO, a school, university, corporates? There are so many different areas that psychologists are needed. Every organization has psychologists. Population also you can choose. Are you interested in working with children? Are you interested in doing couples therapy, family therapy? So you can choose what kind of a population you want to work in. You can also specialize in specific therapy. So if you're into arts, arts-based therapies, expressive arts therapies, dance and movement therapy, all of these therapies are there. So you can specialize in that one therapy and focus only on that. There are also other therapies that you will study in your college, and whichever aligns the most with you is what you can go forward with. And you can also focus on only specific mental concerns. If you only want to focus on depression, you only want to focus with domestic abuse victims, you can do that. And last but not the least, you can also make your own career that doesn't already exist. I know so many psychologists, who go into journalism, who will go into, if you're interested in human development and gaming, you make games for the better development of children. If you're interested in writing, you write novel, so there are lots of other options available. And because I haven't mentioned the salaries are low initially. After you complete your masters, I think the best ones are somewhere between 4 and 5 lakh per annum. But after 2 years, there is no cap to what you can earn. If you're a very good psychologist, you can earn a lot. And there's a lot that you can do, because there's a lot of freedom to decide what you want to do in the field. Every 2 years, you can do something new and finalize what is your passion in the end. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Riddhi and Ashna. We'd like to formally conclude this panel with the last myth that I'd like to bust, which is that arts is or humanities or languages is for girls and science is for boys. I see a lot of boys in the audience as well. I just want to say कि ज़माना बहुत बदल गया है. There are fantastic, young boys that I have taught myself. It could be they are history majors, political science, economics, psychology, literature, linguists, etc. So please keep up with the times. Taking up arts or humanities is not going to make you any less of a boy or a man. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I hope that was a lot of takeaway from here. We understand there are time restrictions because students keep on yawning session to session, and I'm stuck to that. So we have another lot of sessions coming in. I would like to call our Vice President Shilpa Kenya on the stage to felicitate all the three speakers. Shiti Gala, Riddhi Gadda, and Ashna Gadda.